What's up, baby?
Turkey killing mofos. Hey, you a professional now.
You got her? Heck yeah, man. That's awesome, dude. Hell yeah.
Storytelling in regards to hunting and fishing has gone back hundreds of thousands of years.
Yeah.
Literally on the rock walls of our nation.
Push it.
Yes, sir.
What are you doing, Brandon?
Go. By the way, your nipples are already wet.
I just shot probably one of the most epic scenes, probably ever. These two monster bugs got after it, and it was so cool.
That's about like what you want it to look like. Cover it.
Oh, he's so handsome.
That's a big deer, Megs.
He's big. He's a big boy. That's talking whitetail.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Holy crap.
Look at those hooves. Everybody wants to be a turkey hunter until it's time to do turkey hunting.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Tejas Hunt Club Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon McDowell. And we're doing a little intro before we jump into it with Chef Luke Keller, because we're talking a lot of trade show information in this one, because we both live that trade show life, fortunately and unfortunately sometimes. But there's a lot of trade shows coming up, and we mentioned a lot of them in this podcast. So before we get into it, I want to shoot y'all some dates. I know Texas Trophy Hunters is this weekend, actually, as this podcast drops, up in Dallas, Texas. So it's January 9th through the 11th. Next is SHOT Show, which I'll be attending with Silencer Shop. So we'll be out there that week, June 20th through the 23rd. Another one right before that, SCI West Texas. Our good friends Brandon Bredermeyer and that whole crew, their show is going down on January the 17th. So if you're in the Midland area, be sure to come out to that trade show. And then also come holler at your boy, because we'll be there filming content for them. So make sure you put that one on your calendar. That same weekend, if you've been over to the YouTube channel and heard me talk on the podcast before about the Cat Daddies Hog Band, it's going down Edna, Texas. So put that one on your calendar if you want to go check out a cool event with some working dogs, or if you think you got some pups that can handle it, head on down there that weekend. We post about it on Instagram and Facebook with all the information and times that they have allotted. I know he posted this week on Facebook that they were dubbing the hogs' teeth and taking care of them. He looked like he had a pretty good set lined up, man. I know that they got the hogs from the hog tournament that they ran the beginning of December, which had a pretty good turnout, and they got some good, competition for those dogs out there. So mark it down on your calendar, January 17th, and go check them out. And then, like I said, SHOT Show, 20th through the 23rd. One trade show that I really want to go to, I'm really excited, but I just got to fit it in the calendar, is the Wild Sheep Show in Reno. Now, it's hard being a sheep hunter because it's expensive as hell to do, but just being around those people, being around those kind of animals, and like that kind of upper tier hunter, because don't get me wrong, it's hard. You're backpacking, climbing mountains, going to places that most people wouldn't even go for their loved one, let alone to go hunt a sheep. Sheep Show's high on my list. Like I said, January 21st through the 24th. Houston Safari Club Show, which we've been to multiple times, January 23rd through the 25th. I don't know if we're going to make that one or not. It's going to be kind of hard because I'm coming right back from SHOT Show and all that kind of stuff, but we'll see. You never know. Dallas Safari Club, usually in Dallas, as the name entails, but because of construction at K. Billy Hutchinson, it's going to be in Atlanta again. And I think for the foreseeable future, it's going to be in Atlanta, but February 6th through the 8th. We've always had a good time when it was in Dallas. We're real sad that it had to be moved because of that. But hey, great event. If you want to go to Atlanta, check it out. It's a great convention, great organization to be a part of. It's got some pretty cool vendors and auctions that go down. So Dallas Safari Club, February 6th through the 8th. SCI Convention, another one that's high on the list up there with Sheep Show in Nashville, Tennessee, February 18th through the 21st. Another great convention you can go to, another great organization that we love to support, SCI, hence West Texas chapter of SCI, while we're good friends with them. But that's a great convention. Haven't been yet, but have heard nothing but good things. National Wild Turkey Federation, definitely, that we are some turkey chasing fools. I would say turkey killing, but we just do mostly chasing. And every now and then we get to knock one down. But National Wild Turkey Federation, that is February 11th through the 15th, once again in Nashville. Ducks Unlimited National Convention. I've seen, speaking of ducks, kind of curtailing, these last couple, we'll get to that in a minute. But Ducks Unlimited, Tampa, Florida, May 27th through the 30th. That's their Ducks Unlimited National Convention, and then Ducks Unlimited Expo is in Memphis, Tennessee, July 31st through August 2nd. And then there's some other little smaller conventions, of course. All these are all larger national level conventions. Now, if you go to any of these organizations' pages, you can then find the chapters that are closer to you if you don't want to make it out to these national events. But that would be a lot because we have a lot of listeners all over the place. So I'm giving you a piece of the legwork, but just go to the organization's pages and you can find the local chapters. And then there you can find their chapter banquets that they have in your area. So make sure Dallas Safari Club, Houston Safari Club, Ducks Unlimited, SCI, all those great organizations. Check them out. Go visit their conventions. Meet some guides, outfitters, book you some hunts, buy you some cool gear, and have a good time around like-minded folk. Podcast episodes we've been dropping. We've had them coming lately. But rifle opener went down, shot a doe. So that whole experience, Megan's mule deer hunt, which we just dropped the video as of Sunday. So go check it out on the YouTube channel. My 6 Art finally got to go out and do a little work. So we have a podcast, and that video is also on the YouTube channel. So make sure you go watch it, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I know we have the podcast available on YouTube also. So if you want to see the guests that we have on, if you're listening on Spotify and Apple, you can check it out there. But on Spotify, well, just Apple, because on Spotify, we upload the whole video so you can check it out and watch it. But if you're driving, it's probably not a good thing to be, watching a podcast and driving. I'm not advocating for any of that, so don't blame me. But listen to the podcast while you're driving. We got some more episodes coming up. Riley Hornbeck's coming back to tell about another giant that he put down in South Texas. We're also doing a podcast with Hunter Rainwater, who is a Texas fellow that went up to Kansas and arrowed a pretty good deer up there. So we're going to hear about all his background and the story of this Kansas buck. And we're going to keep rolling the episodes out. So we got one coming up with, which I was going to mention earlier, the TR Ranch duck hunt we just went on. It was more of a varmint hunt, but that's for the podcast episode. I'm just saying we didn't come back as Tyree said in Too Fast, Too Furious. We ain't hungry no more. Check out that podcast. It'll be coming soon. And then the others that I mentioned, and we're going to keep rolling out more episodes coming this year. 2026 is already jumping off. It's about to be a whirlwind for the next couple of weeks with these trade shows, but it's going to be a good time. Hope y'all enjoy listening to the podcast and share it with a friend. Check out the videos on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, all the social media things. I'm just telling you, if you're a follower, if you're a subscriber, all things work out. You will be rewarded. I promise. We're trying to do some cool things over here at Tejas Hunt Club, bring y'all some more action and also some more opportunity for those people that want to get out there, hunt, fish, be in the outdoors, shoot guns, all things Texas first and America. But thanks for listening, guys. I hope you enjoy this podcast with Chef Luke Keller. He's got some pretty cool stories coming up of him in Africa and chasing animals with his bow and some opportunities for those people that want to go to Africa. It's not that far out of reach, people. You can make it happen. It just takes a little planning. And we're doing a little bit of the legwork for you. We're giving you people that live it, breathe it, and can help you do it as well. So thanks for listening, guys. Hope you enjoy the podcast, and we'll catch you next week. What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Tejas Hunt Club Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon McDowell, and today we are sitting down with a guest that we've had on before. I hope y'all enjoyed the first podcast that we had with Chef Luke here, and you're definitely going to enjoy this one here. We're going to do a little talking about some trade shows like we've done on the podcast before, but I'm going to keep harping on it because these opportunities to go on these hunts, this is where you need to be. It's all cool and fun and games to see people on social media and try to reach out to outfitters, but it is another thing when you can spend a little time, talk a little hunting, and actually meet and face to face the people that you could be hunting with. So, Luke, glad to have you back on the podcast again. And
thanks, partner.
What's been going on in your world?
Oh, so much. It's insane. Girlfriend moving in, renovating the house, busiest time of my year for my day-to-day job, the private chef business.
Yep.
Still trying to maintain the safari business and still trying to have some fun of my own. So it's been absolute chaos. I am ready for January.
Oh yeah, man. I mean,
but it rolls from one thing to another. It goes from the busiest season of my, business to busiest time for HTK Safaris, really.
Yeah, I hear you, man. We've been busy at day job too, and then we've been trying to get in some hunting this deer season. Gotten a little bit done, and trying to film some stuff as well. And like you said, it just kind of rolls from one thing to another. There's no real off switch. Like I always say, like for the guys that hunt like one animal, that they're in love with duck hunting, or they're just in love with just chasing whitetails. I kind of envy it, but I am pretty happy the fact that I can move from season to season and still have something to focus on. It costs a little bit more because there's more stuff that goes into it, but it keeps the year going. It keeps the year flowing. You always have something that you're planning, always something that you're looking for while you're, working your job or doing household chores. You can always look forward to the ending of one season and the beginning of another. But yeah, man, I know y'all have been busy with safaris. You've been busy with cooking and putting on parties yourself and everything. But what's kind of got you excited for January and trade show season?
Trade show season is a lot of fun. It's busy and it's exhausting, but it's a lot of fun. You get to hang out. I get to see people within the industry, like our friends of different outfitters and all that. So I get to see our buddies out in Kilimanjaro North that hunt out in the Salou in Tanzania. We get to see I got some friends that do some Spanish hunts, so I can hang out with them. Just stuff like that. And then seeing the clients who, you keep in contact with them. You'll be texting them and, maybe talking to them. But then I think pretty much every night of the shows, we're going and getting dinner or drinks with someone for every show we have. Because people are like, hey, let's hang out, let's do this. And so, it's good, but it is busy as well. And then you got new people that kind of want to hang out. But then it's this balancing act because you're like, okay, well, Billy Bob wants to take me out. And we've been, working with him, but I got this new guy that wants to. It's this weird balancing act, and not this year because I've got too much going on with the house. But probably starting 2027, we'll start throwing like parties and entertaining in my house when the shows are here. Instead of just trying to do all the hey, just come on to my house afterwards. I'll have it all kind of set up for that.
Man, I've noticed that a lot. Like there's even like with the total archery challenges and the other events and stuff that we go on, like aside from kind of trade show season, a lot more people have gotten into that same thought of like, hey, let's just get a cool Airbnb or a cool place to rent. In this case, this is your house, but just getting that and going back there instead of dealing with hotels and bars and all that kind of stuff. And a lot more people have gotten into that. Like, hey, when you come into town, like come here, let me entertain you. We'll do it this way and like cook and just hang out and not have to worry about drunk Dan over there, getting all upset or the bathroom or the food not being good at some restaurant. Because like you said, everybody's in town and everybody's doing those same things. So like all those restaurants around the convention center, whatever city you're in, they're going to be full. You automatically have to go into it knowing that, hey, I might have to wait for my food for a little bit because there's a lot of people here. But yeah, that's a pretty cool idea, being able to just, have clients. You can just come back and entertain that way too, because it kind of makes things a little easier. Definitely
when
more
I
you
can
can
just have
control.
like my servers waiting, I'll just hire
Mm-hmm.
Miguel and Champion, my two main guys, so, have drinks and food ready when we arrive, That's kind of my thing.
Oh, dude, it's so one of the dove hunts that I went on this year, and we started it last year. But Tim and them, we were coming back from the dove field, as you know, is like coming back and wanting to cook and clean birds and do all that kind of stuff. We just did the same thing and Tim hired a bartender that they met at a bar in Lubbock and one of her friends, and they came out and had all the appetizers and stuff set out and drinks made and all that kind of stuff. And it had that, kind of resort feel, but then also like you're still hanging with your boy.
I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, get a little bougie. It's nice every now and then. Like, hey man, not every hunt has to just bust your ass and sleep in a tent and all that kind of stuff and eat mountain house. You can have a little fun, do a little toasting, and have a little good
and
drinks
get a little
and stuff
toasty.
like that. Yeah, that too. Oh man, but yeah, that like you said, that's going to be real cool for you in 2027. Well, hopefully then you'll have DSC back in your area and not have to go all the way to Atlanta.
I think the plan for DSC, I went to one of their events maybe a month ago. This guy was speaking on Ethiopia, on Nyala, and like their gazelles and stuff they had, and it was really cool talk from two life members who hunted. I think they said hunted Africa like 50 something times. And I was like, hey babe, Mountain Nyala, add it to the list.
Yeah.
That's one of the I call them the big three: the Mountain Nyala, Bongo, and Derby eland are your three biggest plains game hunts, and those are.
Oh yeah.
Bongos are running about 100. Derby elands, I think, are running like 60 something, and the Nyala's running like 60. So they're no joke. But they're those are the big
not.
three.
Yeah. I mean, they're beautiful animals, and even getting to chase them like up in mountains, like you said they were doing. But it's like with that event that you went to, that's the kind of knowledge that people don't understand comes through these organizations. When you can talk to somebody like that, or two people in that case that have been to Africa 50 something times, like there's no, well, maybe not, but there's probably not a situation that you're going to go through with going to Africa that they haven't seen or at least heard of firsthand from somebody else. So like being able to go to those events and stuff like that, to listen to those people talk and give you ideas and tell you what not to do and tell you the things that you definitely should do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, for those people are really good resources too. Because like Ethiopia outfitters aren't big on advertising, and it's not as competitive. There's only like a handful of outfitters in the country because there's not as much hunting done there. So it's more of like a who kind of thing. It's a real small world. So you like if I was to go hunt in Ethiopia, I just go call those guys up and be like, hey, what was the name of that outfit? Like, because I would not even bother looking for one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And granted, there's not that many, but just it's such a small world in like those kind of circles.
Yeah. And you don't have to worry about, is this person valid? Am I going to have a good trip? Are these people doing things the way they should be doing? Because like you said, they've been vetted by these people that have done multiple trips with them. And then of course, with the trade shows and stuff at DSC, like they don't really let just anybody come and be in the trade show and offer people hunts. They've most likely been vetted by at least a few people before they can be out there, selling the clients and trying to get new clients through the organizations and stuff.
Yeah, for the most part. You're not going to run into people like scamming you.
Yeah.
But you can definitely run into some very mediocre outfitters, Yep. There's definitely outfits out there, but you're not going to run into like, I've heard of horror stories of, we had a client we talked to, where was that? I think that was when I was in Fort Worth. He went out with an outfit and he bought it like online, and he didn't know any better, and I think he shot like 2 animals in like 7 days. But he shot like the first 2 animals he saw, that's completely unacceptable by African standards.
Yeah.
That's not, oh well, that's just hunting, like that's just unacceptable.
No.
But like he didn't know any better. but like I said, he just picked that stuff up from the internet. But like if you go do your homework, at somewhere like the DSC or the Texas Trophy Hunter Show, that's the one that's in Dallas now. Like that won't happen to you, but you can still run into just like very mid guys,
Mm-hmm.
No, I think what they said about the DSC show, it's going to be in Atlanta 1 or 2 more years. And then I want to say it was moving to either Houston or San Antonio for like a couple of
Really?
years. So they're at least bringing it back into the state.
Yeah.
And then it was going to be back at Kay Bailey. So I wish I want to say that's what they told us. It should be public information. This shouldn't be something this isn't like a secret.
They'll come out with it because I know, like you said, they're renovating Kay Bailey, so that's why they moved it to Atlanta, which I was not real happy.
Everybody
about.
thought it was a terrible idea. Everybody thought it was a terrible idea.
But in their defense, it's like what can you do? Because you run the risk of you got to have a place that can hold that many people and do the things that you want to do. Houston, while there is venues that can hold it, it's Houston being in the city of Houston, not real welcoming to the hunting shows.
Space City, son, the trap. What are you talking about?
And if it doesn't tell you one thing, Houston Safari Club doesn't even have their show in Houston anymore. It's actually up in Conroe. So it's what do you really do? You don't have that many options or choices for cities to choose from. Like you said, either Houston, San Antonio. That's pretty much it. You're definitely not coming to Austin.
I got a friend that works in convention sales in Houston, and the issue is all these venues that they sign multi-year, sometimes up to 10-year contracts. So when Dallas Safari Club needed to move it, their options were just so limited because there were so many things, already booked out. So that's the issue they ran into. I mean, I want to say, I don't know. I can't remember exactly the details of why, but I mean, the Texas Trophy Hunter Show is at the Kay Bailey right now. DSC wasn't, what's the word I'm looking for? DSC wasn't willing to downsize their event at all. So that's why they moved to Atlanta.
I heard that too.
Yeah.
I heard that too. They weren't willing to make the room smaller, which, I mean, that room is huge because, like you said, you have all those outfitters and stuff. Once you kind of get into DSC, if you miss a year as a vendor, that doesn't do too well for you. And then having to decide on for DSC, like, which ones are not going to make it. I mean, there's no real fair way to say that if they were going to downsize, but I guess you could do some kind of legacy thing where you had the people that have been there the longest get first choice or something. But even then, it's still a bad situation that you have to kind of go through. I think they just decided the easiest one that can kind of make everybody happy. Well, not
getting
everybody.
a booth at these things can be impossible. We're still trying to get into booths in some conventions, and the wait list, they tell you like 10 years, They're just kind of like, well, who knows? Because how those things work is, they have the show, and then everybody at the show can sign up for next year right then and there. And then maybe 6 months later, they have the sign up for all the repeats. And then if there's anyone that hasn't signed up, or if there's any spots left over after that time when the repeat customers could come back, then they open it. But they never get to that phase. They never get to. We'd like to do the Houston show because we're already doing the Houston Texas Trophy Hunter Show in the summer. We did that. We had really good success with it. We want to go do the SCI show in Houston in the fall, or in the winter, but they won't. We can't get in, so we're actually looking at splitting a booth with another outfitter. That's not a South Africa Kalahari outfitter, because obviously that one, hey, you want to split a booth and we compete against each other? But we're in talks right now with someone to split a booth that's not related, because that's still kind of allowed. But because all these old timers have been here for 20 plus years, and they're not willing to give up their booth. So
we kind of did that with for work Silencer Shop. We partnered with Silencer Co., which is one of our manufacturers for the NFR booth. They were just up there for the Cowboy Christmas and all that kind of stuff. But that's kind of a different thing since we're the distributor. We can easily partner with the manufacturers to do stuff like that. But it just kind of depends on the relationship that you can do to split that kind of stuff. Because, I mean, like I said, we're strapped right now for people, and being able to send people out to do that kind of stuff and work those booths is a whole nother thing.
Yeah. Same thing. We were talking about doing some booths in some different parts of the country, but I only have so much time, so we're still trying to figure out what to do. But at the end of the day, we're booking hunts already at a good cap right now. So that's one thing you run into as well. A lot of outfitters, African outfitters, they're very regional, because they tend to be smaller operations. So, ideally, at the rate we're going, I'd like to say by 27, hopefully next year or the year after, however you want to look at it, we won't really have to focus on what shows to get into because we'll just already have a booked calendar, you know, at the rate we're going with our bookings. Because then you're just doing a show just to maintain presence and obviously to meet people for the future, but you're really just there to kind of maintain a presence, which is what a lot of old timers are doing. A lot of these outfits that are 20, 30 years old that have their, repeat clients. They just do the shows, A, to come see their friends, B, to just maintain, just in case they do have a dip in business, they have their spot kind of, carved out.
Yeah.
Because like how the DSC does it, well, I don't know what's going on with the new rules and everything, but how they have done it in the past is your placement in the room is dependent upon how many years you've been there and how much you donate over the years. So when you donate to their various auctions and raffles and all that, that gets marked back to you and you keep like a little log. So those people that have those really prime spots in those shows, it's because they've been donating hunts for like 20 years or something.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. We fought over where our placement was going to be in many shows and discussing that, because you want to be in a good spot where people can see you. You want to be in the spot, in front of your competitors, so they walk by your booth first before they go to the other ones. And that it's placement. It's where you can either make or break kind of your show. Cause I've seen it where there's great companies, but they're just like not in a good place, or they're stuck over in a section of trinkets and toys rather than being like where they are, just because they could try to get in and stuff. I mean, all that is something to consider for sure.
Yeah, for us, we're not too, aside from like that, those kind of placements, like being, in with like the arts and crafts, we're not too worried about it because, we're a smaller operation. We're not trying to book 10 PHs schedules. We're really just trying to book one, Brendan. It's like we fill Brendan's schedule. We're happy. And, our rate of return clients is so high. So we're not like too worried about it. But still, though, it's like you spend money, you invest in this, you want to get the best return out of it as you can.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, I love this, but, this isn't my day job, but it's Brendan's day job,
Yeah.
This is what he does for a living, He loves it, but it's his career. And now he's got another kid to feed, so, we got to,
get it going for that. But yeah, man. So, I guess what have, I know with the trade shows coming up and doing all that, which ones I know you said Houston, Texas Trophy Hunters, and then what other ones are y'all looking at going
we're doing a show up in Nebraska. It's the, what's its name? I think it's called the Nebraska Deer and Game Expo.
Okay.
It's a smaller show. There's not a lot of African outfitters, but we got into it, which wasn't necessarily hard, but we actually had really good success with it. There's a lot of people in Nebraska. They're used to spending money since it's private land. They're used to spending money on deer leases and all that, even if they own property. That's one thing we've kind of thought about is like, do we go do the stuff out west? The problem with guys out west is like, hey, come spend, however many thousands of dollars to come hunt Africa, but like they get to hunt for free, if you're a Colorado resident, you're elk hunting, 10 to 15 days a year for free. What do you mean I want to spend how much money to fly there, So I think it's a hard bargain in that regards, like doing stuff out west. But the Nebraska show's done real well. Obviously, the Dallas-Fort Worth shows have done well. Houston's done really well for us. So We're just going to kind of stick to that for now. I did that Germany show last year. Did I tell you about that Germany show?
I think you mentioned it.
It was a disaster.
Oh God! I think you mentioned that you were going to it or you were planning to go to it, but I was interested in hearing about how that went.
Terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
Oh my gosh!
I don't speak German. Be like, oh yeah, they speak English. Well, a lot of them did speak English, but they were just very like, oh, you don't speak German, we don't want to talk to you. Let's just say I do not think very highly of the people of Dortmund, Germany. Very arrogant. I met some nice people, but I dealt with a lot of really arrogant people. They were like, oh, my way of hunting's the only way of hunting, I had one guy that one time, he's like, why would I hunt Africa when I can go shoot a meat red stag in Poland for $1,000? And I just want to be like,
yeah.
Why are you comparing meat hunting in Poland to trophy hunting in, South Africa? It's just,
those two are not the same thing.
They were real big on Namibia, and a lot of the Namibian outfitters were set up. There's some nice Namibian outfits. Don't get me wrong. A lot of the Namibian outfits that were there were set up for quantity, not quality.
Yeah.
Oh, and I was talking to them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we don't do the American shows, because we're not set up for that. We're just, set up to do, these kind of European budget hunters." Like, what do you mean by that? And they're showing pictures of like the impalas they're taking like 18-inch impalas, which is, like they haven't even really started coming back up yet. Those are maybe like 3-year-old bucks, and we're shooting like 24-inch impala. Like that's what we shoot for our client.
Yeah.
I think that mine was like 25 this year. I shot a real nice impala this year with my bow.
Heck yeah.
But like, that's what we shoot for. So it's just like a different business model. So like all the people there were like, why are you so much more? I'm like, well, we shoot like 40-inch gemsbuck. And like, oh, I don't care about that. I just want to shoot something. And they're like, I was like, all right, this isn't for us.
Yeah. It's two different kind of clients. And I mean,
yeah.
And it's different people and they don't understand it, and you'll probably run into this with the guys out west too. It's like same question. It's like, why would I want to go do that? Okay, well, the reason why you would want to go do that is for the adventure. You get to see the same mountains and hunt the same elk herds all the time, all of the same mule deer herds all the time. You're seeing the same stuff. You're doing this as to see something new and to experience something else. I mean, I in my mind, I want to learn from different hunters. I mean, they're obviously, you're going to have differences from where you're hunting at, from your location to your culture to a lot of different things, the animals you're hunting, period. But to experience and learn, you're always going to be able to take something back, even though it's a completely different animal, completely different terrain. You can take something back and add it to your toolbox to what you hunt every day. And then being able to come back home and say like, hey, I went somewhere. Like so many people don't travel, don't see the world, and don't get me wrong. If you're telling me let's go to Africa to just go take pictures, I'm probably not gonna go. If we're gonna go to some far country just to walk around and look at sights, I'm probably not gonna go. But when you can tell me I can go hunt and actually learn something and kind of learn the culture of this country behind hunting, that's what I want to sign up for.
Our best traction I had with clients in Germany were Americans that were stationed in Germany when it comes to hunting, which I thought was funny. My best the bookings I had were mostly from Americans that would just happen to live over there, which I thought was pretty funny because from there it's a one-way flight. It's a 9-hour flight from Frankfurt to Johannesburg. It's 1 9-hour flight. It's so easy to get over there.
Wow.
Where here it's 18 hours.
Exactly. I mean, I've heard kind of some just being on hunts like back here with guys that were, serving in the military and they had to go to different countries and stuff. And they come back and talk about the hunting that they did, while they were over there. Like there's guys in the military that have shot some animals that a lot of people would die to shoot just because they were over there in the military and they got the opportunity to. And some of it was because they needed food because they were camped out on an operation or something, and then some of it was just for fun or for pleasure on downtime. But having that access to get those easy flights and do that kind of stuff to get into Africa, that's where it's at over there, man.
Yeah, if you're listening to this podcast and you're an American military man stationed anywhere in Europe, come hunt in Africa. Come hunt with HTK Safaris.
Yeah,
it'll never be an easier flight in your life to get there. Also, I'd probably hit up Central Asia while you're at it too, for the same reason.
Exactly, because I think that's the biggest barrier for a lot of people to even travel to Europe or to Africa to hunt. It's like you got to be on a flight for 18 hours, or you're going to be on a flight for 18 hours, and another flight for 6, and then another flight for 6, and then a car ride for another 12. Like the travel to get to these places is an adventure in itself, man. I mean, making sure all your bags get there, your guns or whatever else you're taking, it's crazy.
Especially, I've started looking into some Central Asia stuff for myself, and I don't even know how you fly to Tajikistan, for example. So, or Kyrgyzstan. Like, I'm maybe through Istanbul if I had to guess. I don't even know. So those are going to be insane.
I want to say yes. I would have to go back and look at Jim Shockey's Uncharted, and then I'd be able to tell you. Yeah. But that's like one of the only real people that have like documented those kind of travels to those countries. Because I mean, a lot of people don't get the opportunity, and obviously it's a lot of work to get over there. I remember seeing. Speaking of that Uncharted, I think they were going to Central Asia, and the cameraman, I believe, something was wrong with his paperwork once he got to Germany to get to the last airport or something. And he basically had to turn around, fly all the way back to America, get the paperwork sorted out, then get back on a flight and then fly back over there to film it. Like, and that's, like you said, if you're going through multiple different countries, you have to know the rules and the regulations for all of those countries to get passed through. Like, some you can get in with firearms, some of them you can't, you know? And you just got to know that kind of stuff, or have, well, hopefully if you're going on those kind of hunts, your outfitter can steer you in the right direction.
That's their job. They should know everything about it.
Yeah.
That being said, South Africa,
should be no surprises.
There should be no South Africa, no visa. Just got to have what do we call it? A passport? You just got to have an American passport.
Yeah. That's the way when we went down to Belize for our honeymoon. That's the way it was. You need anything, just your passport. And some countries are cool and welcome you in, and then some of them make you go through the ringer just to see the sights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
So, what are some of the animals that you're planning for in Central Asia? Because even me, like I've looked into not to go hunt, but obviously just I want to. It'd be nice one day. But just some of the content I've consumed over Central Asia hunting, it still kind of leaves it up in the air on what animals and stuff where you can hunt.
Central Asia is overwhelmingly sheep and goats.
Yeah.
Your ibexes, I still can't pronounce it. Your Urals, which are a sheep species. Your Gallies, which are a sheep species. Not that it's any time. I'll probably never do it. The Markhor, goats are the most expensive hunts on the planet. Those things are insane. Your Markhors, your ibexes, your Urals, your mouflons. They got a few different mouflons over there. The Capra Slam, I think it's like 30 different animals. I think actually might be up to 40, but there's a lot of different, like you got your Pamir Ibex, which comes out of Tajikistan. You've got your Himalayans, which come out of Pakistan. You've got your, what do they call the ones you take from southern Pakistan? There's the southern Pakistan Ibex. You've got your Gobi Desert Ibex.
Yep.
You've got your Kri-Kri, which comes from, I think, not Macedonia. I don't know. You got so many. You got your Bezar, which comes from Turkey. You've got 4 different ones in Spain.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ibex, and then a lot of different argalis. So there's a gazelle that's taken in Pakistan. You can't export it back to America. But other than that, it's just overwhelmingly goats and sheep. species
which
in all of Central
that
Asia.
that equates to mountain hunting at high elevations.
Yeah, some of those would be taken over like 15, 16,000 feet.
Yeah, when
You
base
know.
camps in the 8,000s and 9,000s, and then you got to hike up the rest of the mountain, you're into some different hunting. And if you're not in shape or used to it, there's plenty of guys that have gone over there and not been ready for it, and they end up being in a tent for 14 days rather than chasing animals because their body can't adapt to it. I mean, it's tough. It's hard hunting.
Yeah, some of those are easier, some of those are harder. You really just got to do your research. Like just depending, like for example, in Pakistan, the one they take on the southern half of the country is way easier. It's, rolling hills. You got some ridge lines, but you can drive pretty much everywhere. But then like the northern, which is up in the Hindu Kush that you're taking, the Himalayan ibex, yeah, that's at like 15,000 feet, so it's all over the place. And those countries, all of Central Asian countries, getting around in them is pure chaos. It's not like, like when we drive in South Africa, for example, it can be a long drive. We can drive up to 10 hours, but like, yeah, there's some potholes and the roads can be kind of rough, but like, it's just like you're kind of in the middle of nowhere, on these really barren roads. But like those countries, it's like, think about that, like India madness on their roads, like people driving each other off. It's like that. It's all like that. Except now you're up in
carts, everything.
Except now you're up in the mountains doing it.
Yeah.
Like
you make a wrong turn. That's a very steep, long fall that you're gonna have.
Yeah. So just getting to and from the hunting camp in those countries is absolutely insane. You can't fly in or do any of that because there's no runways or anything because it's all mountains. So you've got to drive and drive and drive. But yeah, we're working on that as well. So
yeah, the logistics and all that. I mean, a lot of people don't understand, like you said, when they look at these hunts and they're like, why is this so expensive? Because of the logistics that go into getting you from the airport to camp and back. That is why these hunts are so expensive. Because I mean, it's not like you can just stop at the gas station like, oh, we're running out of gas, let's just pull over it at the next gas station. Like, no, you better have the gas in the vehicle that you're going to refill the vehicle with, and all those things. It comes into effect.
And a lot of those Central Asian countries are the most corrupt countries on the planet. So the government corruption is just through the roof. So that artificially inflates a lot of the prices of those hunts and everything. Getting tags with the outfitter, but the people's hands they gotta butter up to make it happen. Yeah, corruption is just absolutely insane in those Central African countries, or not Central Africa, Central Asian countries.
Yeah,
in Africa, there's some kind of drama and political issues to deal with, like getting leopard tags and getting certain site tags can be kind of tough. But for the most part, Africa is pretty regimented. It's pretty laid out there because it's such big business and it's been going on for so long. But a lot of those Central Asian hunts haven't been really as organized as long, and those governments are just so absolutely disorganized. Like even in like like let's take like Tanzania, for example. I mean, Tanzania is one of the poorest countries, relatively speaking, on the planet. But like their fishing game and all those organizations that work with conservation, like they have everything mapped out. It's very regimented. For those outfitters, they bid on those. What do you call it? They bid on those leases to hunt, the public land. Like, they go up to auction every 12 years or every 10 years. They got to re-auction for the rights to hunt that concession. But like, it's very mapped out. But that stuff in Central Asia is just like, it's a rodeo.
The wild east.
Yeah. So that's why some of those, the Markhors get to be, I think the Markhor Rams start at like 150 and go up to like 250 plus.
Yeah.
The Argalis all start at like 30 and go up from there. The Ibexes are more affordable. The Ibexes, you can do a really killer Ibex hunt for like 10, 15 grand.
Yeah.
Some of the ibexes can get pricey, but like a lot of the ibexes aren't because they're the most common.
Yeah. Yeah, we
But
talked
you
to.
do get
I was gonna say we talked to Brandon Meyer from SCI West Texas, and he had went to Spain, and went and hunted ibex there, and he said it was. I mean, obviously you're paying for it, but it was relatively good, and it was with an outfitter that they've had at their show for a lot of years and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, it you have to kind of. Obviously, if you're going to make that trip, you can kind of tie it into something else and maybe go do some sightseeing, especially if you're bringing your wife or something else with you. But um, they are obtainable. Those
oh yeah,
hunts, you
yeah.
can plan it out. It's not like maybe it might not be we can do it next year, but hey, 2-3 years, do a little planning, and you can make it happen.
Yeah, not everybody. Well, I wouldn't say not everybody. Almost nobody's going mark horse sheep hunting. That's
Yeah.
just the reality of the situation. No one, I'll never do it in my life. Spend $150,000, $200,000 on a, goat like that. But ibex is totally more doable. Some of those sheeps are pretty doable, just depending upon what you do for a living. But the Spain stuff's really good. The Spain stuff's really good. It's really good hunting.
I've always wanted to go and see the running of the bulls. Not necessarily run with the bulls, but just to go see it.
Just go see it.
Kind of, you got to tie it together and maybe do some hunting. I could definitely, if I was younger, if I went to Spain when I was say 18 or 19, I'd probably run with the bulls. But now I'm good. I'm good.
No.
I don't. If I'm gonna get chased by cows, we're gonna do it over here. While we're working them or doing something like that.
Me and the missus are talking about going skiing afterwards. We'll go ski in Dora afterwards.
Okay,
So I'm gonna try to do like an early season, like late February, early March. Go hunt, and then she'll fly out. We'll meet, and we'll go do go ski in Dora, which is only a few hours from Madrid.
Okay, yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, skiing, like we talked about before, was never on my list of things to do. If I was younger and I learned it then, but like now it's like, the risk reward of me getting hurt.
Definitely, it's so dangerous, dude. But here's the thing about all these things for people that don't know, you got to plan this stuff 2, 3, 4 years out in advance. We're talking about it now, and it's because they're just not as big of a business as compared to like hunting in Africa. Like if you really want to go hunt in 2026 in Africa, like you could make it happen no problem. There's tons of outfitters. It might not be exactly what you want, or you might just kind of pick with someone. But there are outfitters that have spots for 20. You could go show up and it could be like May. And if you did your homework real hard and you're like, hey, I want to go hunt in July, 2 months from now in Africa, like you could make enough phone calls and find someone that has a spot free or someone that would make it happen for you. But like in these places, that's not happening.
No,
just don't have the tags for it.
Like you said, some of those places in Africa, they might have somebody back out. They might have somebody drop that might not be able to make their hunt, and a spot can come open. But like, if you're out on a Marcor hunt, you're just out. You're not just gonna be able to make a phone call and get that done. There's a lot of stuff that goes in behind it.
Yes, I'll be interested for the show season doing some personal. I got a good idea of where I'm going to go already, but you never know who you might run into.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully I got a few more gigs to finish off this holiday season. And if everything goes well, I'll be putting down some deposits in January.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, on stateside, what do you got? What do you got planned for hunting over here? Not just flying across the world.
I had elk hunt in October in New Mexico. We hunted a rifle hunt south of Angel Fire, Taos.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it was not a very good hunt. We hunted hard. The issue we ran into was there's tons of unmarked, closed logging roads that we ran into that weren't on the mapping software that I use. And so we got over there, and all it was, the locals were just driving the roads and shooting from their truck, which is closed roads, shooting from your truck, obviously not good. But the issue you run into was when I was, using my analytics, I use Go Hunt to do this stuff. When I was pulling up my Go Hunt, it was like, okay, there's a lot of public land. The harvest rate was pretty high. So like, okay, this looks like a pretty good unit. It was easier to draw, so it looked like a good value. I was like, okay, yeah, this should be a good hunt. We got there. We knew it was going to be a thick unit. and there's gonna be a lot of like slow spot and stalk, but sometimes the maps don't do justice to how thick and impenetrable it was. So the spots we wanted, there are a few spots, like basically it was like the only spots where you could really get a shot, really even see at times, were where these logging roads were. The problem is they're just being driven constantly.
Yeah.
And then we hiked away to some places away from roads, but the problem is it was so dense and thick you really couldn't see, you know. And so it was like, all right, you know, we're gonna slow roll through this, you know, section here, and hopefully we'll kick something up. Hopefully we won't, you know. It wasn't like get up, glass a ridge, and you know, play that kind of game.
Gotcha.
So we heard elk, bugling within a couple hundred yards of us as we were hiking out one night. We saw elk scouting the first 2 days, in the same spot. When we tried to hunt them for a couple of days, and you know, hit that area real hard. We couldn't get them. And then the cars were really just driving around everywhere. We saw like poached cow, elk.
Wow.
Yeah, it just wasn't a very good hunt. So we had that. What else been up to? I only deer hunted once. I was so busy because my business just gets busier and busier and busier. Earlier, I joke, I go, when is the first time I'm going to hear that Mariah Carey song, that Mariah Carey Christmas song?
Yeah.
I heard it November 10th this year.
Oh my gosh.
2 full weeks before Thanksgiving, people are already blasting Mariah Carey. God, I hate that song so much. She's had to have made so much money off it. It's not even funny.
Oh yeah, I mean they play it everywhere.
I hate it so much.
Yep, and it's so overplayed.
Yeah, it's so overplayed. I did a party a couple years ago, and that's the only song they played for like 2 straight hours. I'm not exaggerating. No. She was a little lit. She just put it on repeat.
No, you're gonna have to pay me a little extra for that
one. I'll apply. You know, I do all the Western DIY stuff. So I did my Idaho application today. We'll see how that works out this year. Who knows what's going to happen?
Same here.
But buddy, my main Western buddy wants to go archery hunting this year. So we applied for a rifle tag in Idaho because I was like, Jeremy, if I'm driving 20-something hours, I'm taking the boomstick. I'm not taking my bow.
Yeah.
But other than that, we'll apply for archery all throughout the western states. I did my Alaska application already too. That's something we're working on really hard. I let my buddy totally spearhead this operation, but we're gonna go caribou hunt. Maybe 2027, if not for sure 2028.
Okay.
And
are y'all gonna do the road, or I can't remember the name of it?
The pipeline road.
Yeah.
The Dalton Freeway? I don't know what it is. No, we don't.
Something like that. Yeah.
Because for those that don't know, within 5 miles of that road each way, you got to hunt with a bow. And then once you get past 5 miles, you can rifle hunt, which isn't bad, but the quality's just down. Caribou numbers are down overall. And for us, it's like, you know, for the time and everything, we're going to go up there. We're going to do it right. So for us, we've broken it down to, I think, 3 choices. One is take what do they call it? One of those jet boats up the river.
Yep.
Get dropped off there. The other option is take a seaplane in and land on a lake somewhere. And then the third option is take a bush plane somewhere as well. I think most of them are on the north side of the Brooks Range. I don't know. My buddy has spearheaded all of that. I told him, I was like, give me 3 proposals. The price of one, you know, the price of the boat, price of the seaplane, price of the bush plane, and we'll figure it out from there. But we're going to do that sooner rather than later. Because unfortunately, I don't think those caribou populations are going to rebound anytime soon.
No, it's been rough, and I mean it's cool that you got buddies, and that honestly that's what it takes. If you really want to go hunt every year like that, you got to have one buddy focused on one kind of trip, another buddy maybe take another one, and then you take one or something like that. Because I mean, like you said, the reason why you pay an outfitter is for the logistics, and if you're not paying an outfitter on those hunts, you got to figure out all the logistics yourself, and it is work.
Especially in Alaska. Alaska logistics is everything. You know,
you can't just drive places. You got to fly or get on a boat.
That's why we had a new guy come with us, a friend of mine who I've known for maybe about a couple of years now. He came with us on our elk hunt. and he was a total baller. He had a ton of skills, and he was in good shape and climbed mountains and had all those skills. He did it when he was younger, then had a kid, kind of didn't get in it, and then wanted to get back in it. So now I kind of jokingly call my crew. There's 5 of us now in the crew.
Yeah.
So, we all kind of have our different. I do most of the draw tag stuff. My buddy's like spearheading this caribou business, and we'll just kind of delegate things out because it's too much for one person. If you really want to dig in and come up with like a really solid plan for all these hunts, so like, Jeremy was like, Luke, I want to do caribou. Let's do it. I'm like, okay, get started on it, son. And he's messing with that. I did most of the Idaho. Me and my buddy Dustin did most of the Idaho stuff, for example. And then, we'll just kind of cycle through who kind of does what, yada, yada, yada. I've done tons of research for years. So if you do a lot of research after a while, you don't have to do as much. You just kind of see what's changed, how your plan changes year to year. But like, for example, like all of my stuff I apply for, like my once in a lifetime tags across the West, like those haven't changed in years, so like that research is done. Not that I'm ever going to draw, but like that research is done, whatever that stuff is. Like my moose tag I apply for in Alaska, like that won't ever change, unless I draw it.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. So cool being able to divvy all that stuff out. I know you mentioned Go Hunt. How do you feel about using? I mean, there's other platforms like you use Hunting Fool or something like that, but like how much is Go Hunt or like platforms like that like kind of helped you as far as scouting goes? Because prior to that, it was just looking up regs and stuff in the manuals for every state. But being able to save things, like you said, and keep that history there, you can go back and look at stuff you looked at 2 years ago and it's still on there. That's pretty cool. So I always try to let people know, like, hey, if you can't, those platforms really help. I mean, you're getting obviously the information that you're getting, everybody else is getting as well, but it just takes a little bit for you to kind of decipher and play around and look at the different benefits of all the units and stuff.
Yeah, there's still a lot of you have to learn, especially from being boots on the ground. No amount of being on Go Hunt or anything is going to teach you. You got to get out there and hunt. I mean, great example would be this last hunt I had in New Mexico. It looked like a good hunt. Statistically, it was good on paper. So I was like, cool, let's do it. We got there, and the hunt was trash. No real. Now I've learned things from that. Now for me, it'll be when I'm looking at mapping software. I'm looking at harvest statistics. I'll know what do you call it? Different things to look for. So you're always kind of adding little pieces to it. But like, I mean, that stuff will still happen. Like you'll still get stuck with, dud hunts, even with all that information at your fingertips. It's just inevitable.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to happen, and then, the ones you could draw a little bit easier, you could probably kind of expect that there's going to be a little bit more you have to deal with because, it's an easier draw. The harder ones you can kind of expect maybe it might be a little better, but even then you don't know until you get there and you just got to figure it out.
Our hunt only had an 8%. No, I think it was like 6 or 7% draw on chance. It's like it was not an easy tag to draw, and it was not a good hunt. That's also a product of everything's just getting so much harder to draw now. But like, I mean, that was not an easy tag to draw, and it wasn't a good hunt. I would never apply for it again. I would never tell anybody to apply for it again. It's just the name of the game.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, yeah, it's just getting so much harder that you got to be willing to kind of do anything. But we still had a good time. Don't get me wrong.
It's a day out in the woods is better than being at work for sure, but it'd be a whole lot better if you got a good chance of bringing an animal home.
Yeah, especially a big one, And really, realistically, I would guess I would tell someone like you could apply your whole life and play the game. You'll probably only get 2 to 4 chances to hunt a unit where like big elk live, because big elk don't live, everywhere. That's just a reality, the situation. No. So like, it's about acquiring those skills. So when you do draw that nice tag, when you do have that opportunity to put a real big bull down, that you're ready,
Exactly.
Because they don't live, everywhere out west,
Nope.
This is reality
they're
situation.
In pockets. And even where they were once big and huge and plentiful, that can change as well. I mean, depends on drought, food, everything else. I mean, everything changes. except for if you
Yeah.
hunt the reservations.
Exactly, dude. You just write a check, baby. You just write a check. And that's what I always joke too. I'm like, you know what? It sucks I didn't, have any luck on this elk hunt this year, but you know what? I shot a 47-inch sable in Africa this year, so we had a great year.
Exactly. So
Definitely.
not to just switch gears totally, but if you bring up a 47-inch sable, I kind of want to hear the story on this sable, because a few people, listeners, know that Meagan has been to Africa, and there's a sable in our house that when people come over, if they're like working, even when we lived in College Station, they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, like what is that?" And I'd be at the house or something to let them in, and like, "Oh, where'd you shoot that?" I'm like, "Well, that's my wife's. It's my wife." Like as Borat says.
Yeah. They got great sheep hunting where Borat's from.
Yeah. But let's hear the story about this sable, man.
We went hunting. We were there in September, which is late season. They don't have a spring. It goes right from winter to summer. So, in August, you have highs in the 70s. September, you have highs in like the mid 90s. So it was hot every day we were there. Oh, sorry. Hunted hard. I shot a wildebeest first, probably like day 2 or 3 when I was there. Nice wildebeest. We recovered him that night. It was a good hunt. My list is getting kind of shorter. I've shot a lot of stuff. I don't know what. 20
and this is with your bow, right?
Oh yeah, all with my bow. Yeah. Oh, I've shot 20 something animals now. Probably, I don't know, maybe even more. I don't know. You get the point. So like when we're out there on that property, for example, there's only I wanted a nice blue wildebeest, black impala, common impala, the sable. Always willing to take another nice warthog, but like out on that property, and there's tons, way more animals. Like I've taken everything else, so my list is a lot shorter. So it's a lot harder hunting for me these days compared to like a first or second timer, where like everything's an opportunity. Every mature animal is an opportunity. So took the nice wildebeest. Next day we went looking for the sable. They're real territorial, especially when they get older. So he was hanging out in the same kind of pasture area. But then he disappeared, of course, after we got the wildebeest down. He was nowhere to be found. We were looking for him. We eventually came across, we thought was him, in a different pasture. And then we kind of figured out where the wind was. We start coming upwind from him, and we were walking a road, and all right, we're going to walk in a little bit, and then we're going to cut in, and see if we can find him in here. And as we're walking, I would say our guard's down, but we weren't like, in there really looking for him. He's a 700-pound animal, 600-pound animal. They're not small.
No.
But they still just disappear in there. And then it went from 0 to 100 instantly. He stepped right out in front of us at like 40 something yards. Wow. And we literally, it was 5 of us, right? 4. Yeah, there's 5 of us, a tracker, the PH, Brendan, we had a camera guy with us, my girlfriend, and me. So there were like 5 of us, so like this huge group of people. And we all just like hit the ground, and I'm knocking up an arrow, and he's looking right at us. I have him like 43 yards. I draw up, I shoot him. Because he was looking right at us, though, he turned, and I caught him like up here, too high for lung, most likely. We thankfully had the camera with us, and we were able to look.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw it, and it was high, but we hit him, and there was blood, so we tracked him. We spent the rest of the day out tracking him, and we come up on him, and he just barely give us a slip, and sometimes he'd trot off, sometimes he'd sprint off, and we'd keep following the blood, and we gave it all day, and it was really, really crappy, to be honest, because, you don't want that to happen. Then we went out the next day looking for him. Same thing. We're going out, we're looking for him. We're either getting close, and he's not quite giving us a shot, or he's getting real far away, and like, just sprinting. And it was like, we're coming back for lunch. And all right, we'll come back for lunch, and then we'll pick up where we left off. And as we were driving back for lunch, he was in this little pocket where he was protected on like all three sides. And as you drove past, you just had like a split second window where you could have seen him. My girlfriend saw him. I was like, there he is. And we stopped and we put back in reverse and we got out. And he was probably pretty weak at that point because he got up. He didn't immediately bolt up like he was earlier, but he got up and trotted out and gave us a shot. So we ended up putting him down. It took, about a full day to make it happen, unfortunately, which is the name of the game out there, unfortunately.
That's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, they're like, Africa, it's going to be easy. Like, no, not at all. Well, not at all.
But we got him down. He was so big that he had patches on his shoulder on each side. He had rubbed down because his horns were so big. He was rubbing it down. And the inside of his horns were actually polished smooth. Normally they have like little ridges, but they were totally polished smooth on the inside because he had rubbed down here. Probably last year, probably last year, he's probably 15 inches. He's probably rubbed 3, maybe 4 inches off.
Oh my gosh.
Over the past year, because he's just, like you said, he's so big. So what I'm going to do him is a nice pedestal mount, and I want to make sure that those rub patches are shown because I think that'd be a really good character.
Dude. I mean, that gets me excited. That kind of stuff is where you can see how these animals have lived and withstanded, being out in the elements and being chased by whatever's chasing them, and they have these, I want to call them battle scars, but like when I see, especially when I see taxidermy, like you said, you want to show that off. When people take the time to be like, I want to make sure to show how this animal lived, rather than being like, oh, well, we're just going to put him on the wall because I shot him. Like, no, I want those animals to be like, to show that kind of stuff when somebody sees it, and so they can understand how these animals are living as well.
Yeah, definitely. So we put him down. We were so relieved. We were so happy. And then we hunted real hard. Maybe 3-4 more days. I can't remember exactly. The day-by-day progression. We were after these impalas, but the impalas were all hanging out as groups of like 20. We weren't getting any of those old lone bulls or bucks. Do they call them bulls or bucks? I think impala you call a buck. But we couldn't get like a lone impala to put a stock on, which, bow hunting. I'm not sneaking up on a group of 20 impala. I don't care how good you are. It's not happening.
Too many eyes. Way too many eyes.
So we were trying to make something happen like the second to last day, and then we had the last morning. And we went out and tried to make something happen, tried to stalk, really just almost tried to break the group up and see if we could kind of break them up, get the buck to kind of go off on his own. Because typically we saw multiple groups of like 20 impala, but there's always, like a nice shooter buck with them, but they're always going together. So really we're just trying to kind of sneak up on, really just trying to, like I said, just break them up because it was the last day, And then as we were heading back, they got a watering hole out there. Because it's Kalahari Desert, we control all the water. But as we were coming back, there were some of them hanging out, feeding towards a watering hole, and the wind was good. And we're like, screw it, let's get in the watering hole. Let's see if they'll come all the way. And they're probably a couple 100 yards out. We got in. About 10 minutes later, they came into the watering hole, and he was like the second one that came in too. So it was a total stroke of luck. But he came in at like 20-something yards, and I smoked him. And he, it's so funny. He's like, this is my girlfriend's first time like dealing with any of this, and seeing animals be killed. And I was like, this is how it normally goes down, babe. You put a good shot on them. They run about 75 to 100 yards. You throw them in the back of the truck, and you celebrate.
Yeah, it's not the day track and going through all this stuff like with the sable. Yeah.
No. And then, she got to learn, she got to see how animals were skinned and all that. So she enjoyed that. She's a surgeon, so she's all into blood and guts and all that stuff. So, our Skinner sitting there doing his thing, and she's sitting here using these long verbs and nouns that I have no idea what they mean, making me feel really inferior. This is supposed to be my moment of triumph, baby. You're talking about this something abductor sac. Like, I don't know what this stuff means. These are the guts. We don't eat these.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I know what to call them. But it was a lot of fun. She loved it. And then we went and did Cape Town afterwards, which I've never done before. And Cape Town is like one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to in my life. Oh my goodness, Cape Town. You ever go to Africa, go to Cape Town. It's worth it. It's easy to get to as well. And we flew out from Cape Town too. So we didn't have to fly back to Joburg. We flew into Joburg to start the hunt. We flew back from Cape Town, back to America. But Cape Town, oof, absolutely stunning. So beautiful.
Yeah, it's always been on my list because I grew up watching National Geographic and Animal Planet and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, when Shark Week pops up in the summer, they're always there in Cape Town, and you're able to see that. But it's always been on my list because I actually like sharks. I think they're cool. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some places where there's way too many of them, and there's needs to be things done about that. But in Cape Town with the great whites and stuff, like I've always wanted to be. I want to do the shark cage thing, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can totally do it. They do it all the time.
But at least I want to go on a boat and see a great white shark, like in the water, because I think they are some of the most, not only some of the most coolest animals, but just the top tier of predators that just you have to see them just to like be able to, admire them and actually see them for what they are, because they're machines. I think they're so cool.
Yeah. We didn't do the shark dive, and we just did like super chill beach life.
Yeah.
We climbed up to Table Mountain one day, which is really nice. It was a kind of a hard hike, especially since all we've been doing is like eating and drinking.
Yeah.
So we said, let's go climb Table Mountain this morning, and I was like, all we've been doing is like eating and drinking. Like, I think I'm feeling the baby squid. I'm sweating it through my pores right now. But then they have a cable car, and we took the cable car down, which was nice because the fog rolled in. It would have been really crappy to hike down when the fog rolled in. But yeah, it's because you're sitting on the beach, and it's like this beautiful beach, and then you turn around, and I think Table Mountain's about 3,000 feet. So then you got a 3,000-foot mountain, and it's sheer rock face on the beach side. It's not like a little. It's sheer rock, so it's really unique.
Okay, cool. Well, how is the food from? I want to hear it from somebody that actually takes food seriously. Like what are some of the things that you like over there that you might not necessarily get here, or just something that gets you excited?
Just the fish was really good and really fresh. One of the best things I had was Zatar fried baby squid, which is like a little garlic aioli, and it was so good. They have this fish called kingslet, which is this kind of medium flaky, kind of looks like an eel, kind of part eel, part just regular fin fish. That was really, really good. They had fresh oysters from they farm down there, which are really, really good as well. Yeah, just a lot of really, really great seafood. We went out to one like really bougie restaurant one night, and it was actually kind of mid. The execution wasn't very good. Supposedly it was like a really well-renowned restaurant, but like some of the best food we had was just sitting on the beach. Even if it was in a tour spot, which is like super simple. Oh, they have really good prawns there. So we have like prawns and puff pastry with like a cranberry. No, it was what's that other? Like a pomegranate gastrique sauce. Like a little prawn and pastries that were really, really good. Yeah, just a lot of really simple, but just really good seafood.
Yeah, at least anytime you're on the coast, you got to take advantage of that, because like I grew up on the coast here in Texas, and getting good seafood was relatively easy for the stuff that we have. But then like you move inland, and you're like, why does this taste like this?
Yeah, and it was so cheap too. We're in the most touristy spot of Cape Town, right? Like right on the beach. And we had like a total feast and had, quite a few drinks, and our bill was like $70 US. You know what I mean? Like it was amazing. Yeah. And like the room we stayed in overlooked the water, beautiful king size bed. And it was like, I think it was like a couple $100 a night. And like, it was nothing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool finding those spots like that. Like once you get there, the bulk of your money spent on the flight and everything
Yeah.
else.
US dollar goes far over there.
Oh yeah, it does, and they like it too when you give it to them. So
Yeah. There was a
good
funny
place to go
story.
see.
We were at that spot and we were, we had a server taking care of us. I don't know what. I think I asked, like, oh, you've been, in Cape Town long? He's like, oh, no, I just moved here. He's like, I was in America. And he gave us this big kind of, story about how he was there, but then he had his, like, whatever visa revoked, or he lost his job. He, like, worked for the government. He lost his job and he came back. Oh, okay, whatever. And then he's like, yeah, oh, yeah, my twin sister, still works in Helena, doing something. I'm like, oh, that's nice. I haven't been up to Helena. I heard it's real nice up there. Then like 15 minutes later, he comes back and he says something about his twin brother in America. I was like, wait, was it your twin brother or your twin sister? I think he was just like making up this bleeding heart story.
Yeah.
And so for the rest of the trip, I'm like, oh, hey, look, it's my twin aunt. She's calling me. Oh, it's my twin nephew. So we were just using that verbiage forever. It was so funny.
Oh man,
he was really nice.
Get that kind of stuff on those trips where you can like call back to something like that, or just like add it on little sayings and stuff. But yeah, when we were in Belize, it wasn't that bad down there, but like you get some of them that were kind of talking and telling these stories, and of course they're selling something or something like that, and it's like I want to believe you. I want to, but how many times have you told this story to somebody?
No, but it was
and
really
they
nice.
fell for it. But
the Ubers there, the Ubers there, they weren't nice cars, but like, Uber drivers here are like, sketchy, don't show up on time, yada yada. Like the Ubers there were like easy as pie to get around, right on time, super prompt. It was so easy. It was so nice.
That's awesome, because I mean that's their job, and they take it very seriously, a lot more serious than the Uber drivers here. But they want to make sure you get to where you need to be, so they get that extra tip.
yeah. And that's the thing. Like, we took like a Uber for like an hour to go out to the wine country, to go like in a little restaurant there. We had like nice meal, and like that Uber was like $60 or something. And it was a BMW. It was like a luxury. Ruby was like, let's take a nicer one since we're going to be in there for like an hour.
Yeah.
No, Cape Town, can't stress it enough. Well worth the detour. Go do it after your safari. We were there. We stayed there 3 nights, got in early. So we're there like 3 days. Let's just say total. Such a great way to end a trip. Something relaxing. We felt really nice and refreshed. Then we got on the plane back to America. We weren't nearly as like exhausted when we got back to America.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. Because I mean, if you've been hunting and stuff, I mean, depending on how hard your hunting was, even the travel alone is pretty strenuous. So having that time to kind of chill and relax for a couple days, and then then you get on your flight and head back, and you're not feeling all rushed and everything else. It's a good plan to have that on the back end of a trip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, having a little cocktail in the airport after hanging out on the beach all day is so nice.
Yeah, it when you go into the planning of that, I feel like a lot of people where they'll mess up, or put themselves in a predicament, is like having to rush home and then get home and then immediately have to go back to work like the next day. Like no. If we're coming back from something like that, we're gonna put 2 days on the end of that where we can just come home and just relax for a little bit, get your bearings again before you have to go back into the stresses of the real world.
I had a day off. I think Ruby had to come right back to work, and my girlfriend works 24-hour shifts as a surgeon.
Yeah.
So she had to come back right into the ringer.
Oh man.
Yeah, she was pretty dead after that shift. More so than usual. That was pretty funny. But and then she worked the day before we left too. So she worked a 24-hour shift. She came. I don't even think we had time to take a nap. Thankfully, I was like, you just got to tough it out for a few hours, babe, until we get on that 15-hour flight, and then you can just sleep the whole time.
Yeah, that's almost like a good thing to be able to sleep. 'Cause I don't sleep well on planes. Like obviously my shoulders,
Yeah,
I don't
too
fit.
broad shoulder.
I don't fit. So like going into that a little tired may be an easier way to get to sleep for a few hours on that 18-hour flight. Because, oh man, obviously I'm planning on going to Africa one day, but like my biggest thing is like go to sleep and then wake up and be like, all right, how much longer do we have? We still have 14 hours. So I'd be like, oh my god.
Yeah, dude. It's not easy. There's no way around it, but you make it happen. At the end of the day, I always tell people on the way out, it's easy because you're so excited. You get to camp, you'll be tired, but you'll be so excited. It'll keep you through just to tough it out to go sleep that first night or whatever. The coming back is when it sucks because you're not excited to come back to reality, you know?
No. You're always thinking about the tons of emails and everything else that you're about to have to go through.
Yeah, and that was another great thing because, I got my business here and I was catching up with a little bit of emails. But then when we got to Cape Town, I spent just we went out to the beach during the day and then we just spent that night in. And I just caught up on all my work that night. And then the next, 2 days, really didn't even have to touch my computer, just got to relax, which is really, really nice. And then I got back to America. I wasn't like totally overwhelmed with everything, because my business, being a private chef, things never really stop, Good problem to have.
Yeah, good problem to have, but it's also good knowledge for the people, to learn and figure out, try to do that stuff and kind of do it a little bit at a time so you don't have to a whole mountain when you get back home.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be updating the internet. Is it Delta? Pretty sure it's Delta that you fly from Atlanta to Johannesburg.
Yeah.
They're updating. We didn't have Wi-Fi on the flight. They're like overhauling their Wi-Fi system on their international flights or something.
Yeah.
But I think they said 2026 they expect to have Wi-Fi on those international flights again. So
nice.
I don't know.
That'll be good.
That'll be really nice because then the same thing. You get up, you can just kind of bang out your work because you got nothing but time when you're on that plane, baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't have much to do. Any place to go.
I always hate, I just feel so disgusting when I get off those flights because all you do is just eat and sit and fester in your own essence.
Yeah,
I'm just oh well. Once again, well worth the price of admission.
Yes, sir.
Other than that, 2026, we got our catch and cook for 2026 in July. So that's when I'll be back out in Africa, cooking every night in camp, doing cooking demonstrations and all that jazz. I took a couple more bookings this past week. I've got a couple more spots for it. Hint, hint. Anyone wants to go have a private chef cook for them in Africa? We got a couple spots left. I tell my clients, I understand life gets in the way. You're trying to make it happen, but until you give me a deposit, I can't hold anything for you. Because if we held dates for everyone that said, "Oh, just put me down," same thing in my private chef business, I'd be out of business.
Exactly.
But we got a couple spots for that left, and then we just announced our catch and cook for 2027 as well. Which I'll send you the flyer. It's July as well, if I remember correctly. Okay. So same thing, group hunt, 6 to 8 hunters, however many spouses come, hunting in the Kalahari, with a private chef doing cooking demos, really nice food, tastings, all that jazz. So, most African outfitters have somebody in camp cooking. If it's not a wife, it's some sort of a, cook, but none of them are, Dallas fine dining private chef level. So this is a really special event. We also, for 2027, are doing a Kudu Rut group hunt as well. The Kudu Rut is in May, and it's a really special time because kudu are just the most insane, beautiful but elusive. animal, and they go through a really hard, pronounced rut, which is during our hunting season. A lot of the other animals are rutting different time. When we're not out there hunting them, but the kudu rut happens in May, so we're taking a group out so we can all hunt for really, really big kudu. Because you want to shoot a monster kudu, especially a free range kudu, that's the best time to do it. Because kudu actually do better on low fence properties than they do high fence properties in most of South Africa, because when they're on the high fence properties, they have to compete for forage against the other animals, and they actually don't compete as well. So, like all of our best kudu hunting are on really big low fence properties.
Yeah. That's interesting. You would have thought with as big as they are, they would kind of be like the bullies and they would take the food, but apparently that's not the case.
No, yes. Well, it's one of those things, at the end of the day, there's people that buy animals and do all that jazz. I've had clients be like, well, I want to go shoot a big, 60-inch kudu. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, come out during the rut and we got to, make it happen and all that. Cause we do it, we do our big kudu hunts free range like that. I'm like, well, this guy said we can come do it anytime. I'm like, well, that guy is just going to go buy one from breeder and just throw it on the property the week before you get there.
Yeah.
Different effect. You're going to shoot a big kudu, but it's a different kind of hunt,
Yeah. Yep. Different kind of hunt. I mean, it's
Once
cool
we got that.
When you can go places that are actually growing them, but in a management way where you're, just they're actually living on the landscape that you're hunting them in rather than just being brought in.
Yeah, it's cheaper than shooting down South Texas too, where they go for like what, $28,000-$30,000.
Yeah.
I can't believe there's people that do that. It's absolutely ridiculous in my eyes.
Yeah. Yep. It's there. I kind of see it, but then I understand it's a different hunt. It's just all about what you want to do. And if you want to say you just shot a kudu, then cool. But if you want to say you experienced and hunted a kudu where that kudu lives, then that's a different story. I mean, I've hunted exotics here in Texas and guided some too, and it's like it's cool to see those animals on the landscape. And for me, it makes me want to see those animals, if at all possible, in the wild, in their natural habitat, to see how I'm doing. Because I mean, granted, there's a lot of animals that take to Texas pretty well, and they can survive and thrive here, but still being able to hunt them in their homeland is something different for sure.
Definitely. So that's kind of what we got going between what I have going on and what the company has going on for HTK. That's what we got going on. Then, of course, we're booking, just one-off hunters all the time, but those are designated kind of group hunts where we have a bunch of people together. Yeah. And it's great for people because we get a lot of people that want to, want to hunt, but don't have like a spouse that wants to go or a hunting buddy that can go. So like, I kind of want to be in camp by myself. I'm like, well, come do one of these group hunts. That's a really good opportunity. So you're not the only one sitting in camp,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and even those other people that are in camp. I mean, for instance, my buddy Jared, when he went over to Africa, he met one of our friends then and came back, and we got to hunt with him over here. I mean, who knows who you're gonna meet in camp? You might find your new hunting buddy there. So don't be scared to go by yourself.
Definitely.
But it does make you feel a little more comfortable when you can kind of go with a group of friends or something like that and go over there. But even then, you can make new ones. You can always make new friends.
Yeah. Like, hey, I love my crew. I love my buddies I do my Western hunting with, but only really one of them is Africa and Central Asia, can afford it,
Yeah.
So like, if I didn't have the business, I'd be going by myself, which, I wouldn't really want to do as much, I got my other buddy, but he can't go every time. He's not as hooked as I am.
Yeah. It makes it a whole lot easier when you got your running buddy with you, and, you can kind of trust somebody else that you spent some time with, and, they're not going to leave you high and dry.
I think Ruby's going to come back. I think she'll come back for sure. Probably not this next trip because there was a lot of time off for her. But she had a lot of fun. So
good.
I mean, maybe I don't know if she would ever want to be on the podcast. But maybe one day get her on and see what she has to say about it all. See
I
how
mean,
much of a
yeah,
lunatic I
it's
am.
always nice to have that other perspective from, spouses or friends that go with you, because we talk about all this hunting and everything else that goes on, but there's other things to enjoy, like with your family, to bring them along too. I mean, obviously the hunting part you can enjoy with them, but spending that kind of time and traveling is a big test. I'm gonna tell you right now, you travel with your spouse, that's a test. Every
And renovate a
person,
house.
yeah, and renovate a house at the same time. But if you're thinking about getting married, or I'm telling you, a good tester, a good way to figure out if you're all on the same page, travel somewhere. And the farther away, the more you can kind of get into where you're working together and figuring all that kind of stuff out.
She was really glad we did Cape Town. She said if we had just gone hunting and come back, it would have been, I still had a good time, but she's like going out there hunting and then coming and going and doing Cape Town,
Yeah.
like having that little kind of mini vacation within the vacation.
Mm-hmm.
She says that was the real, what put it over the top for her. So
Oh,
let
yeah.
that be a lesson to all you guys out there. You're going to take your missus some sort of hunting trip or whatever. Make sure there's a little bougie relaxation component to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we're talking about, if we do the Spain thing, if she doesn't come join me, she'll come fly out afterwards. Though I think she might come join me for the Spain hunt. She definitely will not come with me to Tajikistan. I wouldn't want her to come to Tajikistan.
Yeah.
Nothing against, it's just,
for that to be an enjoyable thing, you gotta have it in your head of what you're going to do.
Yeah. So like she can stay at home, for those, or go do something else with her girlfriends. But like those other ones, I think if I just tack on like a little kind of mini vacation afterwards, she'll be happy. But thankfully, my girlfriend's from Canada. She grew up climbing, the Rockies and surfing on Vancouver Island, and they used to go camping in ice caves in the winter. So she's not,
wow,
she's not new to the outdoors.
No, not at all. She's pretty experienced as far as being out there and knowing how to move around and what you need to do and what you don't need to do, especially going into ice caves.
yeah, that's ridiculous. I've never done anything like that before.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that too much here in Texas.
No, dude. But you know what? Yeah, she used to surf on Vancouver Island. Which for those people who don't know, obviously it's an island just outside of Vancouver Island, or just outside of Vancouver. But the big kicker with Vancouver Island, it has like the best black bear hunting, arguably in all of the nation. The Vancouver Island bear hunting is insane. Yep. Did you ever go bear hunting? She's like, no, of course I didn't go bear hunting.
Yeah, she's worried about surfing, not hunting bears. But yeah. Vancouver's Canada. That's. I'm really trying to make that one happen. Hopefully soon. I really want to go bear hunting. I really want to go with my bow, but Canada's on the list.
Well, we'll talk about bear hunting off stream, because I got my little secrets for bear hunting, and I'll tell you all about those. I don't want to share that with everybody. I got my little honey holes for bear hunting.
We'll talk about that afterwards. But yeah, man, actually one of my coworkers, he went bear hunting back in September. They went up to New Hampshire and he hunted bears up there, and he had a pretty good time, and he got his meat back actually like last week, which I was pretty surprised. They processed it pretty quick. And he had most of it turned into ground and had some jerky made. And man, he was passing that jerky around at work, and it was so good. So good. I mean, the bears that they were hunting were in the forest. It wasn't a coastal bear, so they were, eating acorns and blueberries and all that kind of stuff. So I need to tell him tomorrow to bring some more of that jerky over here, because I know he's got some at his house. Pete, if you're listening to the podcast, bring some more jerky to work.
My bear was a coastal bear, and it was strange. For the first 6 months, it tasted really good. But after 6 months, it got real funky.
Really?
In the freezer. Because, thing is, the freezer doesn't completely stop, like, spoilage and the turning of fats. It greatly slows it down, but it doesn't completely stop it. And then also those fats absorb, odors from within the fridge. Or within the freezer, I mean. But yeah, for the first 6 months, it was really good. Mine was an early season coastal bear, so it hadn't started getting, like, the fawns yet. It was mostly eating coastal grasses. Like I said, for the first 6 months, it was really good. But then after that, it got borderline unedible,
Oh man.
which is really strange.
Yeah.
I never had anything like that happen like that before. But it was also my first bear, so hopefully not my last.
Yeah.
We shall
What's
see.
what's your favorite way to cook bear?
Braise it.
Okay.
Leave it on the limb and slow cook it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that with all the front legs. I did that, braised it. The rear legs are typically too tough to do that, too locomotive. It was really strange. Is I did a lot of it just like stew, stir fry meat.
Yeah.
What I found was, I butchered up the meat and I didn't keep individual muscle groups separate. I just, those rear legs, I just cut everything up and then put it together. I'd have some pieces that were like super tender, super nice. Then I'd have some that would be like leather. So it's much more picky, or it's much more specific. Like this muscle was really good. This muscle was really bad. But like I said, I didn't keep everything separate.
Yeah.
So if I was to do it again, to be honest, I would do the front two legs. I would keep whole and just braise them, like for taco meat or like bourguignon, which is what I do for all my deer. I don't break down front legs of deer anymore. I just braise them all whole, and it's so easy and it's so good.
Yeah.
And then I would take the back legs of the bear. I'd probably just take the rest of the meat and make sausage with it, to be honest.
Okay.
Because I have so much other, I shoot so many other things.
Yeah.
I don't need. You can't eat bear. It has to be well done,
Yep.
because of trichinosis.
Yep.
So, like, just in my situation, because I have so much more meat, and it's just me and Ruby and the puppy, I don't have to like super focus on like trying to get the most yield, most amount of steaks. Like I got deer for that. I got plenty of that. So just front legs, braised meat for tacos, everything else to turn into sausage. Like smoked summer sausage. That's what I would do if I see when I draw another bear tag.
All right, I can get down with that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll have to talk about that because, like I said, man, I really want to hunt bears. They're a pretty cool animal, and if you haven't noticed, when it comes to the predators, I'm definitely into them. I like seeing other animals hunt and do things. I had when I was deer hunting this past what was it, Thanksgiving? No, it was on my birthday. So the first weekend rifle opener, I tried to set with my bow. And the deer were coming in. You could see them moving around, kind of coming into the feeder, but they were still kind of in the brush. And there was on this place that we have, there's a bunch of quail, like an absolute awesome, healthy coveys of quail. And of course, they were milling around, making their noise and everything. And this hawk swoops down and like dives bomb right in the middle of them. And of course, he misses and doesn't get anything. But I'm like, looking at it like kind of mad because when he did it, all the birds flew off and then all the deer ran off too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God dang it. Like, what is this hawk? Like, what are you doing? And then I got to stop and think and be like, well, Brandon, he's hunting too. And he doesn't get to go back to camp and make a breakfast taco like you're about to go do. Yeah. He's not eating right now because he missed. But it was pretty cool to see that. But then, of course, obviously, he scared all the deer off. So kind of messed up the hunt. But if it's that messing up the hunt, I'll take it. Being able to see animals interacting like that.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully, come January, I'll have some time to go out and fill the freezer. I got a client that owns 20,000 acres of like a high fence property, and they got to shoot like 90 does every year just to maintain.
Oh yeah.
So if I have time, hopefully I'll get out there, and it's just, you just lay into them. And there's no strategy. You just start walking. You're going to kick up does, because there's just so many animals out there. It's not even funny. It's the most game dense place I've ever been outside of Africa. It's unbelievable. Animals they have out there. So I can just call up my buddy who runs the place and be like, hey, you still got some does you need shot? Can I come out, please, broski? I'll cook you dinner, and lay in.
I'm sure you won't turn that down.
No, of course not. The freezer's looking pretty empty right now. It's funny. I joke because I think his job is the coolest. He manages, this like world-class hunting property. He thinks my job's the coolest because I cook all this awesome food. So we both have like kind of man crushes on each other, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
We're both so excited to see each other because if I'm there, I'm cooking food for him, and if I'm out there, if I see him, it's because I'm hunting.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll get out there and just, like I said, lay into it, fill the freezer.
Sounds good, man. That'll be good. Get some meat put in there for sure. I'm trying to kind of want to make another trip down, shoot another doe or something before season's out. Same here. It's like just got to plan it and go get it done whenever you can fit it in. Because like we said, it's busy season right now.
Yeah. Where do you hunt?
So we have a lease in between Del Rio and Brackettville. So on the border, pretty much.
That's a drive. How many hours is that?
For us, it's a little over 4, like 4 hours, 15 minutes. We'll go.
That's not too bad.
No, we'll leave here, head west, and then as soon as we hit 377, we'll just take that all the way down and go that way. But yeah, it's a pretty cool property. We picked it up this year, back in August, and it was just my in-laws actually got it, and then they got us on it too. So it's a nice little spot. I mean, we got water, we got power. There's no lodging. So the first time we went down there, we stayed in town in Del Rio and drove, but it's like 25 minutes from Del Rio to the front gate. Yeah. And then from the front gate to the property that we can hunt is like another 20-minute drive on a bumpy road. So then it got to like, especially with Haston and having him, it's like, okay, so we go back to the hotel. Do we unload everything out of the truck, put it in the hotel, wake up 30 more minutes earlier in the morning to load everything back up? Yeah. But then we got it kind of figured out for the rest of the season the past couple of times where the weather was good. So we actually stayed in a tent out there and it worked out pretty good. The last morning we forgot to put the rain fly on and then it started raining. So we had to jump up in the middle of the night and do that. I mean, that kind of just makes it a little bit more fun, but no, it's a cool place to go hunt. Like I said, I've never been on a property that's had that much quail where you're just driving around. You can see them and hear them and everything else. Yeah. And there's a lot of deer out there. Nothing, we're not seeing no 160s or 170s yet, but like there's some decent 130s out there that can be found. And I mean, once you find a buck or something that you really want to hunt, you can hunt him pretty good and try to figure it out. So yeah, it's been a good little add-on for this season, definitely, because it was a little while before I shot my last deer and we were on a different lease. But yeah, it's been fun. I've had a good time out there.
Yeah, that's such a racket, the whole lease game,
Yeah.
You lose it, you gain it, you're busy, but you got to kind of pay for it and do it anyways because you don't want to lose it. It's kind of like getting a booth at a hunting convention. A lot of the same dynamics.
It's a lot of the same, yeah.
Who you and know,
yeah,
and all
exactly.
That jazz.
And that's the game you gotta kind of play, or else you get lucky like we have before. And like you were just saying, you have a buddy that runs someplace and he's got a couple extra tags and can hook you up, but if you don't,
about 30 extra tags.
If you don't put the boots on the ground and get out there and make some friends, you don't get to do your opportunity kind of lessens. But you can trade off on stuff like you said. You go cook for him, and the same kind of deal for us. Like we can go do pictures and videos for different ranches, and want to trade on some stuff. We can do that too. I mean, it's you put your skills that you have to use and just do a little horse trading.
Yeah, definitely. Where I'm at right now, my holiday season's too busy. I don't know if I'll ever get a deer lease.
Yeah.
Not till I retire.
Yeah.
That's the joke.
Makes sense,
I joke with the missus. I'm like, can I retire next year? Can I retire the year after? How many more of these Decembers I got to do? She's like, I don't know. How many more of these ridiculous hunts you're going to book? I'm like, shit.
That's the real question is like your inputs are more than your outputs.
What's so funny is she'd never been exposed to this world. So we're sitting here talking about these hunts, what the stuff costs. And she's like, wait, what do these hunts cost?
Yeah.
And it was so funny. So when she started learning about Africa and, it's affordable to hunt like where we hunt, the plains game and everything. But then like when we start talking about like leopard and bongo and Nyala, mountain Nyalas and, all that stuff. And she's like, wait, what does this stuff cost? People pay this? I'm like, damn right, we're paying this. And then we were talking about, and then we were talking about this Central Asia stuff when we were watching, oh my goodness, I gotta send you this link of this video. The guy's name is Ron Whitten. Just type in Ron Whitten hunting. Everybody who's watching this too, type in Ron Whitten hunting on YouTube.
Okay.
It's this 81-year-old guy who bought one of these Markhor sheep tags that went on auction in Pakistan. And it was like $270,000 is what he paid for this hunt. And then while he was over there, he had to have hunted for at least a couple of weeks. He took both ibex, he took a Ural, he took a gazelle, he took like 5-6 animals on this trip in Pakistan. And like this guy had to have spent $350 plus maybe $400,000 on this hunt. And he's like 80 years old. He's got the full blown hunchback, and he's like, there's times when they're carrying him. They're piggyback carrying him up this mountain because he can't make it up.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we're just gonna go up this ridge line, and there's gonna be, we saw them on the other side, and like so they're having to play that game with this like 81-year-old guy like toting them.
Dude,
And
kudos
he's
to
like-
him for even
he's
being
like
able
a-
to do that at 81.
I mean, yeah, kudos to him to just want and will to do it. He's like a little lucid. You ask him a question, ask him a question, like, so what do you think of that? He's like, his team process, oh yeah, it was a good shot. I'm real happy. Like he's just like kind of barely there. But I mean, he paid for it on an auction. It's just the craziest thing to see. It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But it's so ridiculous. And Ruby's like, no, what is that Markhor? I'm like, it's a Markhor sheep. That's the Pakistani one. It's, at least $200,000. And then I Google it, and the guy paid like $270 for it. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I hope he lives long enough to see those trophies come back to America. I hope
Exactly.
he gets to see it, because there's a very real possibility that he expires before those things make it back here.
Yeah.
Or
at least have it in his will where his kids get it or something.
Yeah,
Tell them how to pick it up and where they need to go.
How to fill out the customs paperwork when you're deceased. You got to make sure the power of attorneys. And that's another thing about those Central Asia countries. Getting your trophies back, it's not like getting them back in that from Africa, where we're just like, wham, bam, thank you, man. We've done it a million times. Like that stuff can take years to get your stuff back from those Central Asia countries.
Yeah. I remember it took Brady Miller from Go Hunt when he went to Tajikistan and shot that Marco Polo. I think it was almost 2 years before he got his back or something like that. It was a little while.
There's an issue. Some of those too is their scientific classification with them. So like some of those, they say it's an Argali, but the U.S. government recognizes it as a Mongolian Marco Polo.
Oh, yeah.
And so like the paperwork won't matter. Like, no, it's, it's like the American classification, and this isn't up to date. It's a huge racket.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to figure all that stuff out, man.
Yeah, that's a big time hunt he did with his dad. I don't know if I watched it, but I saw like pictures of it at least, or at least Instagram posts of that Argali.
Yeah.
Those are the real deal.
Oh yeah. He's probably my favorite one on Go Hunt. Just the way he hunts and the way he is and everything. I like him. And I mean, of course I like all the guys that Go Hunt, but Brady's because he's the mule deer guy, and I kind of like mule deer more than elk. So the rest of them were on that elk train. But yeah, man, I like watching those guys a lot. They got a lot of information aside from, just the tag stuff and everything else, just the stories that they tell and the hunts they've been on. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll see. We got to finish out this year. That's what we got to focus on. It's off today. Tomorrow I got to shop and prep. I've got 6 parties in 5 days that I'm personally doing, and then my employees have like 3 or 4 more parties over the next 4 days. So,
oh man,
we're not done.
No,
we are not done.
It, man. Back at it. But glad I got to have you on tonight, man, and talk a little hunting like we always like to do, and then of course get the message out there. If anybody, listeners, watchers of the YouTube channel, if you want to go on a hunt and have Chef Luke here cook for you, definitely reach out to him in HTK Safaris, and for 2026, I know he said he has a couple spots left, and then for sure for 2027. And then they got that kudu hunt too, so definitely put that on your list. And my buddy Jared shot a kudu this past summer, and man, he's in love with them. So it's a cool animal, cool hunt with, and now you have the resources right here from the podcast to get you there. So don't sleep on it. Don't wait. If you can make it happen, because we got good people here that'll set you up and make sure you have a good time, and your bellies will be full.
Yeah. It's so cliche. You got to seize the day. I mean, the reality of the situation is like for the foreseeable future, there's going to be hunting in, South Africa, Botswana, Namibia on these private properties that like we primarily hunt. But, costs can change. South Africa's a stable country, but like, in Mozambique, they had that terrorist attack on the far northern uh, part of the country that was Islamic. I think that was like ISIS branch in Tanzania that came across the border, and there weren't any hunters in camp, but I think like a couple of the staff got killed.
Yeah.
In the far north of the country. But like now, like no one's going there. Even though it was a one-off thing, but like still, like nobody's gonna go there to hunt.
No,
for at least the next couple of years.
Yeah, once that stuff like that starts popping off, people will change their mind and shoot. It would change my mind too, because
yeah, oh yeah.
I mean,
but
going down to the border and being able to take some protection with you is one thing, but you're halfway across. You're on the other side of the world, and you don't have that same protection like you do here.
But that's really, really rare. But like at any time, you could have like Zambia fall into like total economic collapse. And like, how you gonna get over the hunt?
Yeah.
So Africa's the places we hunt are stable, but they're still really, really poor countries. That's a reality. So I always tell people like, seize the day. You don't know what's gonna happen. You never know. So you got to make it happen. We got buddies that hunt in Cameroon. They're having like a civil war right now. And like, they're trying to still have people come out and hunt because in theory it is kind of far away, but like, good luck, how those, I mean, good luck getting people out there. Good luck making it happen. And it's just tough. So I had a buddy, another one, he booked a hunt for Azerbaijan to hunt some sort of goat species. I think a mouflon, and Azerbaijan closed hunting because of, I can't remember, some political issue, yada yada. Not like an anti-hunting issue, but like he had a hunt booked for 3 years, put a deposit down. Never got to go. Thankfully for him, he booked through HTK Safaris, which is a really big Central Asia company, where they have tons of different hunts available. And he put down some serious money. He hunted with them before, so he just went somewhere else.
Yeah.
But like,
and roll it over.
Yeah. Or, even here in America, I always get them mixed up because there's like 4 or 5 different caribou species. But the caribou that's on the far eastern side, is that the Labrador, I think? Or the Newfoundland? I don't know. I can't remember. But, they shut that season down like 7-8 years ago because of population decline. It'll probably never be open again. Not in our lifetime.
No.
So, like, you got to seize the day, if you can make it happen, because you don't know. Like, same thing with that caribou. The caribou number's been going down because of the warmer temperatures and everything they're having up there.
Yeah.
So, like, we can say, oh, maybe it'll rebound, maybe it'll come back. Like, or we can just go now,
Yeah. Yeah. And put it in
you
motion.
Seize the day.
Yes, sir. Well, Luke, it was great talking with you tonight, man. And we'll look forward to hearing from you again. And hopefully, we'll get to meet face to face here soon.
I know, one day, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. We'll try to make it up to. I'll depend on work and where I got to go for trade shows and stuff. I know I'll be at SHOT Show in Vegas, but we're gonna try and make it up for the Texas Trophy Hunter deal in Dallas and walk around and go see that, because we missed it last year because we were at another event. But we're gonna try and make it up there this year to go check it out.
We'll go get Goldie's barbecue one morning before the show.
All right, I'm always down to eat some good food for sure.
Don't get me started on Goldie, son.
I hadn't heard of that one, but we'll definitely check it out.
Texas Monthly #1 for a reason.
Oh, okay, all right. Oh yeah, the list that they have that comes out. I haven't looked at it in a while, but yeah, we'll definitely have to check it out, man.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Well, thanks everybody for listening to the podcast tonight. As always, we are here as a resource, so reach out to us. If you're looking to get on some hunts, we can definitely point you in the direction of Luke and HTK Safaris. And we'll catch y'all next week. Peace.